Hello, you guys. Nikki Ganjemi here, and welcome to Mindset and Manifestation Monday. Today I'm going to be talking about easing into flow, F-L-O-W. It's a nice place to be, and wouldn't it be nice if we can have more flow, if we can have more ease in our everyday? I know that sounds really good to me. So before we get started with that, I have a little story to share for you. I have a little example that I'm going to be using a little prop to illustrate for you. So today we're going to have a little bit of fun. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Nikki Ganjemi, and I help online coaches shift their identity to thriving entrepreneurs so they can make more money and impact doing what they love. And wouldn't it be nice if we can just on a daily basis experience more flow? And it could be flow in any area, just getting up and starting your day on time, getting to where you need to be, getting there in a timely manner, not dealing with traffic. And just, do you ever notice how sometimes when something goes wrong in your day, it's one thing after the next? And that's an example of where you're out of flow. And sometimes when we just keep trying to go against the grain and fight it, instead of leaning back, and just taking a break and maybe asking yourself, what can I do how can I shift here? Sometimes it's just doing something really small like that helps you to change course so that you can just start having more ease, because that's really what we all want, right? We want to create more ease. So I'm going to start by sharing, there's a story that I read in this book, and I've shared this with you before, but it's this book, A Deep Breath of Life by Alan Cohen, and it's got these little short stories in here that you can really kind of understand something in a new way, and it can open up your mind. So this one I thought really fit nicely with easing into flow, and I'm just going to read a part of it and just stay with me because there's a really great message here, and then we're going to do a little experiment. Ready? And if you're on the live, say hi, let me know that you're here, interact with me. If you're on the replay, #replay. I love interacting with you guys. So hello and happy Monday. So this is Where to Build a Sidewalk, and he shares this Italian proverb, shift your sail with the wind. And even that, it's just like, it reminds you to just kind of go in the direction that is easy. It makes me think of when Abraham Hicks talks about the path of least resistance. There's always a path of least resistance. And where is that path? How can I find it? Hey, Michelle, thanks for being on and saying hi. Happy Monday. I was just about to share a little story in this book, Where to Build a Sidewalk is the name of the story. So the guy, Alan Cohen, the author, he goes to tell about a time when he attended a conference in a Pennsylvania college, and he enjoyed walking through a huge grassy mall between the buildings. And the area was landscaped beautifully, and the sidewalks were laid out in an interesting but irregular pattern. When I commented on this to a friend, she told me the sidewalks were designed by the people who walked on them. When the mall first opened, the architects did not designate sidewalks. Instead, they waited for a few weeks to see where students walked. After the engineers determined the footpath patterns, they laid down the sidewalks. They realized that no matter where they put the sidewalks, people would walk where they wanted and just trample on the grass. So they decided to save themselves some work and make it easier for the pedestrians. The sidewalk designers understood that there is a flow to life, and when we are one with it, we are empowered. When we tune into the energy flow, we can use it to our advantage rather than struggling to make the world fit into our expectations. And I really love that. And it just makes me think that we don't have to struggle. You know, that's a choice that we have. We can choose to struggle. We can choose to fight against the grain, or we can, just like I said, lean back and think to ourselves, what if there's an easier way? And wouldn't that be nice? And setting the intention of finding that solution, finding that easier way. There's just another little part that I want to read. He goes on to say that jungle lore tells that monkeys learned how to evade capture by making use of ease rather than force. Hunters would put some nuts in a glass jar with a small rim smaller than its base. A monkey of inferior intelligence would reach into the jar and grab the nuts, but because the hand with nuts in it was too large to fit through the rim, the animal would stand there struggling, and the hunter would grab him. The smarter monkeys, however, didn't reach into the jar. They simply opened one palm and tilted the jar so the nuts fell into it. If you are trying to clutch onto something that won't fit into your life naturally, that's when you get caught. Accept what shows up, and you are free. Take advantage of the tide of events, and life will support you in ways that you could not manipulate through your anxious struggle. Build on what is rather than what isn't, and you will be one with life. I read that story and I loved it. I loved it. Michelle, I'm all in for an easier way. Yes, me too. And so I went and, you know, it's now November, so we're kind of moving into the whole holiday season, and I bring out my mug. It says joy on it. I actually got this from a student when I was back in the classroom. And I just love to make a little illustration because we tend to remember things more when we have a visual, at least us visual learners like myself. So in this mug, I have some little glass stones that I had in a vase with some flowers. And just to illustrate this, it's like if I take my hand and I put it in the cup, my hand fits. But when I try to grab these little stones and I try to make a fist, I can't pull my hand out of the mug. And I could sit here and struggle, and I can feel that my hand, I'm just using one hand, I can feel that my hand is raw as it's rubbing up against the inside of this mug, and I can pull, or I can just let go. And I can say, what's another way to solve this problem? And like the monkeys, you know, I can just open this palm and I can just pour these stones into my hand, and it's just an easier way. Right? There's always another way to do something. And there's always a solution that's right around the corner. And when we're in flow, and when I say that, what I mean is that we set an intention for what we want. You know, it's like, what is my intention here? And get crystal clear on it. And then stay curious. Stay curious and to open to, you know, I wonder what way, because, you know, there always is another way to do something rather than struggling. Have you ever even gotten in your car to put your seatbelt on, and sometimes when you go to pull the seatbelt, it gets stuck? Do you ever have that happen? It's so annoying. And I've been one to kind of pull, and I'll get aggravated because I'm pulling on the seatbelt and it's getting stuck and it's not going. But, you know, what you do is if you just release it, and then try again and pull, it just comes right across with ease. So we could choose to struggle. Certainly, that's our choice, right? We have freedom in this life. Or we can choose to, you know, lean back, like I said, and take a breath and reconnect to your intention and get curious and think, how could this be easy? I find that when we're not in flow, at least for me, if I pause for a second and like what am I thinking of? I'm thinking about all the ways it's not working. I'm thinking about what's going wrong, and that's where I'm out of flow, right? But if you shift and you start thinking about how this could be easy and what's the best way, that I can do this, and then go do something else, go make yourself something to eat, or go for a walk, or read, or just take a break, right? And then when you do that, you'll find that you'll just have this divine download, that you'll just have this idea, and it's like, oh my God, how great is that? Hello, Edmund. Good evening to you from Ireland. Hi, yes, all the way from Ireland. Great point. There is always another way to achieve. Totally. There's always another way. I mean, there's just such a vastness in this world. There's just so many possibilities that we couldn't even think of. But take time each day to be quiet, just to get quiet. This morning I was just having a cup of coffee and I was journaling, and I wasn't really thinking of anything, but all of a sudden I remembered this woman that I had met years ago, and she had this business networking group. And I thought to myself, and she moved since then, so she's no longer holding these meetups. She's moved to, I think, North Carolina. And I thought, it would be really nice to, get back out and networking in the local arena. And I thought, why don't I check Meetup? I've got this Meetup app on my phone. I never look at it because I'm always online. So I was done journaling. I picked up my phone. I opened up the Meetup app. I just typed in women's business networking, and an event popped up for tomorrow. And guess what? It's going to be in the town where my sister lives. And I just happen to be going to her house tomorrow because we're going to be going for her final bridal dress fitting. So it's like, that's flow. It's when you receive this idea and you get a little excited by it, and then you act on it. And it's like, oh, how convenient is that? Here's this meeting tomorrow, right in the same town that I'm going to be in. Well, I'm going to go, and who knows what could happen. And that's how we we ease into flow more. It's like that being quiet and getting curious. And then also something I love to do is just to be thankful for all of the inspired ideas that are going to come. You can thank ahead. Did you ever try doing that, of thanking ahead? Hello, Zuza. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Awesome. I know Abraham Hicks, but often how you interpret him, it is easier for me to understand it. Resonates differently. Thank you. Yes, this is very similar to Abraham Hicks. Very similar. And you're right, we all interpret things differently and we make connections in different ways. But I find that how I can ease into flow each day is when I stop trying so hard. It's when I stop efforting, as Abraham Hicks says, right? And I don't try to go against the grain and just, struggle and get frustrated, because that just makes you focus on what you don't want. And that's not flow. So I hope that this was helpful for you today. Always remember, focus on what you want. Just focus on what you want. Set intentions for what you want and how it will make you feel. And how can you feel a little bit of that right now? And sometimes you've got to walk away. You've got to take a break. You've got to walk away. You've got to re-energize yourself. You've got to get re-inspired. And when those ideas come and they excite you in any way, act on it. And you will be amazed at what happens. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for your comments. You can keep them coming. I'm here to support you. I hope you have a fabulous Monday, and to flow. Let's stay in flow, everybody. Have a great day. Bye for now.